Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 11th day of the 12th month, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, our frequency over the air is 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice anywhere else on the planet Earth, you've gone to our website to do that, ksje.com, or maybe you've tuned in through the new KSJE radio app. It is great to have you all with us this morning. Also, welcome to our viewers this morning. The video of this program streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So glad you're all with us this morning, because coming up in the next few moments, we are getting an economic development update from Mr. Tim Gibbs from Four Corners Economic Development. Lots of things that are going on. I want to bring that to you and let you know that's coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE this morning. Then later on this hour, I'll be checking in with our friends, Dave and Friends, as a matter of fact, with the annual Polar Bear Plunge. It's happening New Year's Day out at Farmington Lake. More power to them. We'll find out about that event and who's going to benefit coming up at 8:50 a.m. on KSJE this morning. Then, of course, it's classical music, Roving with the Arts. Mick Hess will be here at 9:06 with our weekday classical music program. A reminder, you can also connect with us on other social media platforms like Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. If you're a podcast listener, you can connect and subscribe for free and download KSJE Podcast. Perfect for those holiday road trips. So download and discover maybe a new local program that you may have missed, or better yet, just get the new KSJE radio app. Podcasts are right there, live stream right there. Stay connected on the go. Available now at the App Store and on Google Play. Outside our studios here at San Juan College this morning, a sunny Thursday morning, 29 degrees at the moment. We're expecting more sunshine today. We've been warming up very slowly all week, but 51 for a high in Farmington today. 29 overnight tonight, a high of 50 with sunshine tomorrow. Partly sunny and 49 degrees on Saturday, 52 with partly sunny skies on Sunday. And overnight lows, as you can see, most nights right around 30 degrees. Back with my guest from Four Corners Economic Development right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, whose vision is to deliver world-class care, making life better for the communities they are privileged to serve. Offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so residents can live life better here. San Juan Regional Medical Center, community owned and operated, here for you.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin morning program on KSJE.
And my guest this morning, as I mentioned, from Four Corners Economic Development, Mr. Tim Gibbs is here, the CEO of Foresaid. Good morning. Welcome back to KSJE. Good to have you here.
Good morning. It's always good to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in. I wanted to ask you first off about the latest with the casino, Sunray Park, and the racetrack, of course. That's been in the news, and I know we talked about that the last time you were here, because it is certainly an economic driver, and the idea to the proposal to relocate that facility, the racino as it is, right, from here to Clovis, and there's some updates, a little bit of updates at least, on what's going on there.
Yeah, this is what we know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we don't know as well, and some things going on behind the scenes.
Always.
Yes. There was scheduled to be a public hearing or a public comment period in Clovis on, of all days, December 22nd.
Okay.
And only in Clovis and not in Farmington.
Right. That was set up by the Racing Commission, the State Racing Commission.
It was. So that's 7 hours for us.
Yeah.
And it's at 8 a.m., supposedly, or was.
Right.
At 8 a.m., so you had to go down the night before.
Sure.
spend the morning and then drive back. So you leave it dark, probably, and get back at dark or something like that. Well, that's been postponed.
Okay.
That public service. I think they've kicked the can until either, I think, February even for that.
Oh, wow.
And it also is a longer period of comment. The comment period is not cut off now on that.
It was going to be over by now, I think. Early
Yes.
December was
Yeah.
the original plan, right? So that's
Yeah.
still open?
It is.
Okay.
And that's a good thing for
Right.
us. It's
Sure.
more of an opportunity for people to inquire about how we can make our case or what kind of conversations can we have. Because a lot of this truly just happened overnight. I got notice that there was a 9 o'clock Racing Commission meeting that I could sign on electronically
Right.
at 7:30 in the morning the day of.
And they were going to meet at like 8 or 8:30 or something, right?
I think it was
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
And I believe the county got notified the night before.
Okay.
So, and so the owners who asked for the license to be moved to Clovis, they showed up with architectural renderings. I mean, they had poster boards. This is what it's going to look like, and this is the investment, and we're going to build a new hotel. And so it wasn't like that just came about quickly.
At least for them.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
But yet for us, no one knew. Even the landlord didn't know.
Yeah.
That owned the facility, which
Which
is
is
the
San
county.
Juan County. Right.
So there's a lot of things that is going on. I know the comment period has been extended.
Okay.
They kicked the can on the public comment, which was really going to be hard, at least for in person. I believe you can sign on to potentially have your say remotely, but the problems with that, and it's the same way when you try to sign on to something in Santa Fe with state government, is many times there be 200 people that are asking to comment, and they'll take the top 12.
Right.
Or 14.
Right.
And they give them 2 minutes, and that's the component of public comment they have.
Sure.
So
but if you're there in person, more of a better chance to get your voice heard, I guess. is
that's
what you're
right.
saying.
But it's so onerous for folks from here to get there.
Right.
The county's taking the leadership role in this. We're certainly trying to support them. We're echoing the economics.
Sure.
At most they had about 180 people out there. It's about 120 now that work out there. The GRT is over $1 million. The gross revenue is over almost $20 million a year. So it is an economic driver. It's
Right.
an agricultural economic driver as well.
Right.
So it's important.
Sure.
Now, potentially options down the road, depending on how things go. But the first step is whether or not the existing license gets transferred.
Got it. And that's what this public comment is about, and what the Racing Commission, State Racing Commission, is discussing. And so
It is.
that's an important part of this. And so folks have feelings either way. It's important that they let their voice be heard, or make plans to get to Clovis in February. Just to stay tuned, and see when that date is. Right.
Well, and I think it's incredibly important that people sign on, go to the Racing Commission's website, and have your comments.
Sure.
Have your comments. Put them out there for
Right.
them to see, for they can see which way the wind's blowing
Sure.
on this issue, and that how people here in Farmington and San Juan County feel about this.
Exactly, and I understand that. And certainly, again, the issue, economic, as you've mentioned, the county owns that facility. Again, just to be clear, there's no change to the county fair and the facilities out there that the county owns, but certainly the lack of racing, and for the horsemen and women in this area, and that would certainly impact some of those folks as well if that were to change.
And there's an opportunity for conversation as well. When people work in good faith, you can talk about strategic investment. You can talk about refreshing. You can talk about new things. There's a lot of ideas that's been bantered around about how to maximize the use of those assets.
Right.
Even within the existing framework we would have now, that would help the existing client that's out there that's renting that. So.
And you mentioned too that the designs and the things that the current owners took to the Racing Commission about what their plans are in Clovis. There isn't any really infrastructure there that would have to be built.
Yeah.
And I think some of the conversations from the county has been, well, what if that type of investment was made here? I think the county would be glad to partner with the owners or other owners to build a hotel or other amenities out at that site to kind of make it as desirable as what they're proposing in Clovis.
Especially if you think about it holistically of what else you could do with that site, even outside of the racing dates. If you used it as a concert venue, if you used it for more of a sports venue, if you used it for things that bring people and bring new dollars in, there's just a lot of conversation that can take place to maximize the value of the assets, and also look strategically towards reinvestment in it as well. But you have to do it in good faith, and it takes time. and it's hard to do those things when you hear about it the day of.
Right. So now it's we've got a little bit more time, is what you're saying, and so
Yeah.
that seems to be a positive thing. We will see how that goes, and we'll continue talking about it as we approach the comment period, maybe now in February instead of December.
We're 20 days away from the new year, but that's going to happen as well, and we're going to be back here. You and I already talked about
We will in January.
In January, and hopefully we'll have some more information as well.
Okay, sounds very good. All right, let's move on to some other things that you are working on and your colleagues and others in the community. I know you don't do this in a vacuum. It's usually a concerted effort with other groups about housing and affordable housing. It is a topic that we talked about a lot, and it's going on not only in this community, but almost, I think, every community across the country. So what's it look like here?
Well, what we commissioned and had a study done looking at our housing, and while every community may be having some similar issues, ours is a little bit unique.
Okay.
We have a down valley effect from a resort community. We have growth going on in certain sectors. We have inflationary periods. When people say the word affordable housing, I feel like I should do my little,
Air quotes.
quotes
right.
around it.
Because what does that mean?
Well, it means different things to different people.
Sure.
I mean, by definition for the federal government is that you don't spend over 30% of your income on housing. That's really hard here. If you look at the value of what it costs for families, and there's been such a commitment in this region by City of Farmington and Aztec and all these communities, and even all of our partners, about trying to be an ideal place, a great place for families to raise a family. But if they're not living in the basement, I mean, their goal is to have their own house and to build equity and to build wealth for their family as well. And it's really hard to do.
Sure.
It just is. So we're in a very, very early stage about trying to pull together partners and unite where we break down the lines between one city in the county or one city and another city, where we can think about doing some very, very unique things that ideally would lower the cost of housing. If there was land banks that was out there of publicly controlled land, and ideally that either has infrastructure or has close proximity to infrastructure, because it's really expensive for developers to put sewer lines in, to do different things and those type things. But if we can identify and make a depository and show people how we could work with them together, there are state and even federal things that can come to the table, but you have to be an organized group and you have to be working towards it to be eligible for those things. We think that we can take the baton and help organize and put some of these things together to have a clearer path for developers to help take advantage of an opportunity, ideally lower the cost and make it more affordable for families to have housing here in San Juan County and all the municipalities that make it up as well. And that's probably where most of it is going to take place, because you got to have infrastructure. You can't
build out in the middle of nowhere.
It's really hard to make it pencil.
Yeah.
If you do. But if we don't do this, and if we don't get started to this, and this isn't something that would be done next year or 3 years or 5 years from now, if we don't start on this road, if we don't find a way to use the parts and pieces and partners a little bit more efficiently, then where are we in 10 years? I mean, Durango average house is well over $1 million. We can't go there. We can't turn into that. And I'm not saying we will, but there is an effect coming down valley as well for that. And all the things we're trying to do with economic development is for the people that we have here, and for the families that we have here, and for those that like to come. And when we get new people here at the college, when we bring new people in for business and industry, and the hospital in particular, housing is a critical component of it. They have to have a place to live, and a place to live they can feel comfortable to raise their family. And then once they get here, they don't want to leave. So it's multifaceted, it's complex, but the only way we can do these things is bring the parts and pieces that all have together, assemble them in a way where we ideally 1 and 1 equals 3, and it gives an opportunity for the private sector to help with an issue that's going to help our community grow.
Sure. And it seems like the cities and the county and some of their players are certainly on board with having these conversations and working towards this goal, because they must realize, too, it's in their best interest to have this for their citizens and residents to be able to, again, when we've got all these high school seniors or college seniors that are graduating, we don't want them to leave. We don't want that brain drain. We want them to be able to stay here and work and afford a place to live and start a family and whatever it is they want to do with their life.
Our partners have been very, very receptive to the idea. Now, the devil's always in the details. Is it a nonprofit? Does it start underneath us? Who takes the lead of it?
Right.
We're leading the conversation at this point because we think we have a unique perspective that's countywide, that we already have relationships built, very, very strong relationships. We're already working with those partners, and we're also an asset that connects to the private sector. So we think that ForSed will play an important role. Now, whether or not we have the baton or we're a key partner, that we will figure those things out, but at least we're working towards something that I believe will be a holistic approach to try to address a really difficult problem.
Sure, and that's what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
These days with your partner, so that's
Yep.
great. We'll stay tuned to that and look forward to it because, again, as you mentioned, we've got certain unique issues here. Other communities have their own issues that they're dealing with, but it's important to kind of look at this now so that in 10 years maybe there are some answers to some of these issues and problems.
And we want it to be an opportunity as well.
Right? Not a problem.
And right now it's both.
Yeah.
But how we preface this and how we can help people and how we can remove barriers and be transparent and bring the assets that each one of us has to the table and think of it and plan for it accordingly, that's the only way I think we can move effectively forward.
Okay. Very good. Tim Gibbs is my guest this morning. Of course, he is the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development. I want to talk about energy. The Four Corners, the San Juan Basin Energy Conference was just held in October, and it's always a really interesting event. I've been invited to take part in it in past years, and there's some interesting information that came out of that, huh?
You know, San Juan College School of Energy, the San Juan College, the Independent Petroleum Association of New Mexico brought first-rate information to the basin. There are so many things going on here, and I know for past shows we've talked about AI, we've talked about data centers, we've talked about behind-the-meter power generation and these type things. But at that conference, they brought in nationwide leaders of energy to talk to us about where the United States is, what the outlook is for energy, where the national electrical grid is currently, the demand short term for the grid, and the gap of where we are to what we're going to need,
Right.
and then all the different things that can come to play to help meet that opportunity. And this is kind of a Wikipedia version, a recap of it. It's 80-90% right, but and factual, but maybe I'm not going to have citations.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But natural gas is just such an important play for it.
These folks still see it that way. That's what you're talking about.
It's somewhat the perfect storm. Is that we have a gap in electrical production of what we currently need and what we're going to need because of all the new demands that are coming on. We thought that through efficiencies and through LED and all these different things that we would be using less power as a nation, but with electrification for cars, maybe not as much here as other places.
Right.
But that's one.
But still, that's
part of
the trend.
That's part of it. With data centers, with the introduction to AI and the massive amount of computing it takes, and the integration of AI and now into businesses and into almost every facet of your life, including your espresso machine even now.
Right.
It's just demand for more and more and more power. And it's not just United States.
It's global.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of countries are now developing in a way they're using more and more power than they historically have. And to meet those needs, and with a lot of countries having different political slants on how they want their power, natural gas is a clean option, and a relatively clean option to meet those needs, and it can be transported. LGN, liquefied natural gas, is now flowing around the world, and our governor just got back a couple months ago, I believe, and had signed some agreements with South Korea and with Japan about New Mexico natural gas being exported to Asia because it's some of the cleanest natural gas there is.
Right. And they don't have their own supplies in their
right.
countries, which is why they're looking.
That's right.
And so interesting. And so it's not to say maybe that some of the work that's been done with renewables and things like that is going away, but you're talking that these folks are saying natural gas and that type of energy is still an important mix in the energy future of the country.
It's all the above. We need more of everything, and natural gas is a base load, and it works very efficiently for that. Now, that opens up a lot of opportunities for us. These are some just historic numbers. The San Juan Basin, at its max, probably was producing a little over 4 billion cubic feet of natural gas a day. We're about 2 now.
No, okay.
But the Mancos, which is a natural gas play, kind of on the north side of San Juan County and into Colorado, maybe somewhat around Navajo Lake area. The Mancos play that's developing. I was just told yesterday from a fairly reliable source in the business that they think by 2030 the Mancos alone is going to be over 2 billion cubic feet a day. So that gets us near maybe 2.5. That gets us really close to the all-time production of what this region collectively was producing.
Interesting.
Now, there are some constrictions with pipelines, midstreams, and those type things of getting places. And that's one of the things about Forsaid, that we're working to see what we can do with those assets here. What can we do in place, in situ? What can we make? What can we manufacture? What can we use natural gas? What can we use helium, hydrogen, CO2 here to value add in a manufacturing setting? Because if we could develop kind of a baseline manufacturing operation using those assets here to make things, then we don't have to transport it all the way to South Korea or to Japan. And I'm not against that at all. I'm just saying that and it also helps with the flow of peaks and valleys as well. And we got some real competitive advantages because our natural gas, we have to discount it somewhat to get it to other places. By the time you get it there, you've had to give up a little bit to transport it there.
Right.
If we had those same advantages on cost to using it here for different things, then we got a competitive advantage on price to make someone make money.
Right.
Make money here using the assets, using our people, doing it in a responsible way, and it helps our economy, stabilizes us a little bit for now and in the future. And just makes good business sense as well.
Sure. And I would think for someone in your line of work to be able to talk to a potential business looking to expand or relocate, to say, we can offer you this supply of natural gas to power your widget making factory or whatever it is at a lower rate than what you'll have to pay in where you are now, that might be a enticement.
It's not a bad thing. That's certainly. And that's part of it is
I know it's not that simple.
Well, and somewhat it is. Yes, if you're looking for a behind-the-meter opportunity, we probably have more than sufficient supply. The cost point is probably as competitive as anywhere you're going to find. So, yes, that's very much true.
Gotcha.
But there's other things you can do with that resource as well. There's a shortage of fertilizer in the United States. You can make fertilizer out of natural gas. It's a drop-in component for it. You can make all kinds of different things as building blocks. It's chemistry. It's what you can do and what you can do efficiently using these assets, and it may be we can make the case that you can do it cheaper here than other places.
Gotcha. So for folks who have lived through some of the booms and busts of the last 70 years, what you're saying is that things may start to even out a little bit and be at least a little more steady with some of this future types of investment and energy plays in the region.
Well, yes, is a short answer.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
There's certainly been cycles, and there will continue to be cycles, and there's always geopolitical things that can affect these things.
Sure.
But there's some fundamentals that I think we can accept. One, we're at an energy deficit, and there's going to be a demand for more energy.
Right.
Two, natural gas is probably the fastest way to market and one of the more clean sources of conventional fossil fuels that can be turned into energy. It's not natural gas versus solar, not natural gas versus wind. It is a combined effort of the three and how we can come up with, but the positioning and the stake of natural gas is strong now and will continue to be strong in the future. The asset, while we have a diminishing base in the San Juan Basin, is growing substantially in the Mancos as well, and they use the same pipelines.
Right.
It comes to the same area, and we're seeing the benefit of those things.
Sure. Well, and using the same pipelines, and I would assume the same workforce.
Yes.
Ideally.
Yeah. Ideally, there are a few things that's very unique. The Mancus plays, these, when you go out to a well site, it's not one well. It's multiple wells from one well site, and they're deep, and the laterals, the horizontal things, are large.
Sure.
So they're a different type of operation. Our drilling rigs won't do it. So you have to bring in the big ones.
I see.
You have to bring in the ones from Oklahoma and Texas and different ones. Now they're using the people, but the operations and many of the companies, we're not set up. It's a different type of drilling.
I see. Right. But it could be, I suppose, if someone made the investment.
And in time, maybe that will happen as well.
Yeah.
And it'd be a big investment. So
right.
the GR,
I know it, yeah, it's not cheap. That's true.
But for every one of those, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trucks of sand. Now there's a local sand producer in Bloomfield that we didn't have before. But most of that historically, and at least recently, has been coming, make 500 trucks from Arizona.
Right.
So 500 CDLs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is significant opportunity. And when we play that with what we can do with possibly doing it correctly for behind-the-meter opportunities, not just data centers, but just power generation, or potentially secondary uses of the natural resources for manufacturing, as well as an expansion of the Mancus play in natural gas. We go back to housing.
Right.
It's
Where
all
are they
these
gonna live?
things. Yeah, where are they going to live? But the outlook is pretty solid, and that's I guess if I have a theme today, that's it. Is there's a lot of opportunity out there. It may not be as peak and valley as much, but a steady incline.
Right.
Like you'd like your 401, ideally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. And this is not just, again, local folks saying this. This is some outside eyes looking at the market, looking at the basin, looking at the geopolitical things and saying there's still life left in this energy basin, and we think it's got some potential over the next 10, 20 years because of this other play and these other things that are going to be needed in the energy mix of this country going forward.
I think you stated it better than I could.
I don't think that's true at all. But
I got back. I was at a conference last week, Energy Council conference that was in Mississippi, and the reason I went was they had a large focus on natural gas and transmission and midstream transmission, and these are things that rings our bells.
sure.
So it wasn't just the one-off that we were hearing at San Juan College or that we were hearing from our partners here in the basin, but it was a national perspective as well. Yeah,
Nice.
It's no one has a crystal ball, and things can change tomorrow. And the price for natural gas is still not very high. It's around $3, $3 at least here locally. But last year was the first year in a long, long time the United States didn't have a named hurricane that hit. Now, there's a terrible one that hit in Jamaica,
Right.
but there wasn't a named hurricane that hit in the United States. Wasn't any hurricanes that came through the Gulf. There wasn't any disruptions in the Gulf and those type of things that many times will spike natural
Sure.
gas prices. And
Right, didn't
such.
happen.
It just didn't. We would, a lot of people would like the price for natural gas to be a little higher, and it's predicted to be a little bit higher, but not onerously high. But there's still drive for drilling and for exploration. And while some of the more mature basins in the United States are falling off a little bit, the exploration of the Mancus is looking more and more like a shining star.
Gotcha. And I guess, again, with the expertise that we have in this basin, because we've been doing it for so long, there's efficiencies, I think, that come with that. And so even with a lower price, some of these folks can probably make it profitable, even with the lower price, even though that we'd all like it a little higher unless you're paying your natural gas bill.
Well, and we got pretty cheap natural gas rates around here anyway,
We do.
right now.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
that being said, yeah,
But we
there's-
are efficient at getting it out of the ground.
There's
I think.
100 years experience
Yeah,
here
for sure.
of doing this and doing it the right way and
Right.
doing it in an environmentally sufficient way as well. So I just wanted to kind of echo what we're hearing for the application for businesses here.
Right.
For them to have one more piece of information they can use about what they're doing, what their future looks like, and how they can invest in that as well.
Yeah, perfect. Just about out of time this morning, Tim Gibbs, but I wanted to ask you, you've got an event coming up that folks can still maybe find a seat at if they're not too late, but this is your legislative breakfast send-off coming up in this month, December 18th. Local legislators coming in to talk about some of the things they'll be dealing with in Santa Fe in the legislative session in the new year, and so still got a few seats?
Just a few. We're doing
Okay.
this in conjunction with the Farmington Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
So Jamie Church has been taking the lead on this, working with us as well. We're holding a School of Energy at the Marion Room. There's constraints on how many people you can put in this room. This is one of our most popular things because you actually get to hear directly from your legislators and get a voice to your legislators. And it's up to date to the day of.
Right.
They're going to say, okay, leadership is telling us that this is coming back, like family leave or the outdoor heat bill or whatever it may be. You get a chance to have a voice, and you get a chance to hear, and it's interactive as well. We start at 8, we're done by about 9:30, but then usually people stick around, and you can have one-on-one conversations with that.
Yeah.
You can reach out to Chamber of Commerce or Forsaid. We're almost sold out.
Okay.
We're incredibly close to it because we don't.
This event will sell out.
It will. We don't try to put it in a place where you can have 300 people because we want people to be able to have a voice and be able to ask their questions and have the time with people that represent them, and that's important.
Sure. Very true. So act now, everybody, if that's something that you want to get to. Again, December 18th, it's coming up. Gosh, be here before we know it. That's next week, I guess, is when that is.
It is.
Yeah.
The fact that you talked about the polar plunge, and that's 20 days away.
That's right. It's true. It's happening. This year is coming to a close.
Yes, sir.
And so is our interview, I'm sorry to say. But Tim Gibbs, it's always great to visit with you. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll see you in January.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's Tim Gibbs from Forsaid, my guest this morning right here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.